I'm watching a different horror movie every day this month till Halloween. And starting off our month-long marathon is The Curse of Frankenstein, an adaptation of the Mary Shelley novel and a remake of the classic Universal film. This movie is where Lee and Cushing began cementing themselves in horror history as icons of a generation, much like the Universal films did with Karloff and Lugosi back in the day. The story is one that we all know very well, and the film does not pretend otherwise. It's the classic story of Frankenstein, and it has been retold and parodied over and over again through the years, and the film acknowledges this even from the opening text, explaining that the story we are about to see is over 100 years old and that the legend has been told countless times. While the plot itself may be the classic story that we all know, it throws in some new elements that make it stand out from previous versions, like the dynamic between Victor and Paul. Cushing and his co-star Urquhart's performances stand out in all the right ways, because the film introduces a master and apprentice relationship between the two. It brings into question that if Victor had created the monster, did Paul have a hand in creating the monster that Victor turns into? Both actors here have a large presence and both command the screen in their own unique ways, playing off one another like they've been working together for years and years at this point. But a lot of the time, the acting can seem like it's more from a stage play rather than a film. It does make sense seeing how a lot of these actors did start off on stage before transitioning to film, and they still retain a little bit of that acting. Cushing never goes over the top crazy like Colin Clive did, screaming, "It's alive! It's alive!" But his darkness is a lot more subtle than the original. In the Universal films, Frankenstein steals all the body parts from graves and medical schools. He never causes any intentional harm to anybody. In this film, though, Frankenstein goes to extreme lengths to get the body parts that he needs. He throws a professor off the staircase so he can use his brain. Later on, he eventually even sicks the monster on his maid/mistress after she tells him she's pregnant. They changed Dr. Frankenstein from a man who's obsessed with his work to one who's willing to do almost anything to get it done. And these all take place on these massive, absolutely massive and beautiful sets, especially the lab scenes. It's full of color that bursts off from the screen, almost like a Technicolor movie bursting out from all the white background. But at the end, this movie, I can't say it's for everybody. It can be disappointing to see that Lee, as the monster, isn't really given that much to do, as most of the violence is implied and off-screen. There are moments, like the monster being shot and lit on fire, that we do get to see, likely due to the monster not being a human, and thus it was deemed okay for us to see and the censors didn't touch it. And it makes me excited to see what else Hammer has in store for us the rest of the week. Come back tomorrow where we look at The Horror of Dracula.